this particular site is a critically endangered, or part of it is critically endangered ecosystem mapped by Queensland government as that. It's critically endangered. There's only 1.4% of this vegetation community left in Queensland, and then that also crosses over two main water tributaries, South Burnett, and that goes straight into the southern lagoon of the Great Barrier Reef, which is a World Heritage protected site. And we've cleared so much, and there's, this is a floodplain, a subtropical floodplain. This particular ecosystem needs fire to propagate. This eucalyptus sclerophyll ecosystem has to have scarification of seed for the seeds to actually propagate, our big eucalypts and all that sort of stuff. So that would suggest to me that there's going to be fire in that particular site. So why here? Why in that special spot? And then, and adding to that, it fringes on a humongous patch of remnant vegetation, which Queensland State Government has vowed to protect. Remnant vegetation, which means has never been cleared before. So yeah.
Well, I was having spent a lot of time pre-politics doing a lot of agricultural advocacy against some of our veg laws, and that's on public record, and calling out a lot of the silliness that was used to justify the reef regulation and all the rest. A lot of our remnant veg has been classified as remnant. It has various.
I agree with you there. Yeah. Some of the mapping's been a bit tough. Yeah.
And I also have one of my fundamental principles that I also have a lot to do with is property rights as well. And I'm a big believer in, if you buy the land, it is a fundamental principle of our society that has been eroded significantly over time, is where you get dictated to in a lot of regards as to what we can and can't do on our land. And that's one thing that I've been it's one of the reasons I put my hand up to one place. So I'm a farm boy. As a conservative, I'm naturally a conservationist. I love the outdoors. I love my fishing. I love camping out in the bush, all that sort of stuff. I grew up. My mum grew up in Mount Perry, and I grew up in my school holidays. We're up here running through the hills, cutting rosewood fence posts and all that sort of stuff, and all the rest. So that's my overview. But then that's why I try to bring it down in that environmental piece. It has to be, for me to say that that's good reason to reject something. It has to be above and beyond. It's hard for me to. That's what some people say. Well, you sit on the fence on some issues. Well, I can't be steadfast in my views on property rights, and then go and tell someone exactly what they can and can't do.
It's all fair to have property rights, but if your property is going to affect everybody else's property and a World Heritage site, then that surely begs the question of what are you up to with your property?
Well, that's why the planning code changes very much as far as the wind and solar. Because everyone has an obligation to work together and to do the right thing by their neighbours and all that. So that's where it does get wrong. You can't be pure in the real world. You can't be pure in it. What I will say is we have a lot that we do. The Mount Rawdon Gold Mine, its tailings dam backs onto the Perry River, but we can engineer it to be safe and secure and not fail and run into the river, which will run into the Burnt River, which will run into the river.
That's never good.
You manage the risk.
Yeah, but even the ecological plans won't show us. If we could even just see the data, see the plans. There's been a new addition to Change of Application 56, where they have added a fire management plan and all that sort of stuff. And even the waterways that they've added in there, they've taken one small photograph of a close-up picture of, honestly, not even 50 centimetres of a water tributary. The ground truthing data, which we're entitled to have, is not there, and it's all missing. And that's not okay. We should be able to all talk about this, and you guys as well, as a community, and look at the facts side by side, and then be able to all draw a good conclusion. Hard for us to do so when there's so much data missing, which is it has to follow a certain process, under the Vegetation Management Act, under the Environmental Protection and Biodiversity and Conservation Act. You know, it's a matter of national significance, and that needs to be taken into consideration.
That block of green has been totally cleaned up then.
We will come, did I sort of answer? Yeah, good. I'll come up the back here with
I was just going to say